Welcome back to the Club of Combat, and this is the first episode of Punch and Popcorn, the series where we review fight films, documentaries, TV, video games, and anything that sits at the crossroads of combat sports and culture. For the first episode, I want to start with Giant, the film inspired by the story of Prince Naseem Hamed and the relationship with his trainer, Brennan Ingle. This isn't a film review. I'm not here to talk about camera lenses or the award seasons. I'm looking at this through a fight fan's lens. Does it capture the spirit of the sport? Does it respect the people involved? And does it feel true to the culture? Let's get into it. Giant is a biographical sports drama that focuses on Naseem's rise from the gyms of Sheffield to becoming one of the most recognisable and controversial boxers of his era. But very quickly it becomes clear that this film isn't just about Naz. It's really about the relationship between fighter and trainer, and specifically Brennan Ingle's role in shaping that journey. That choice is important because it defines how the story feels. One of the strongest parts of the film is that mentor-student dynamic. Anyone who's trained seriously will recognise it. The gym isn't just a place where you learn technique, it becomes family. The trainer isn't just someone holding pads, they're shaping your confidence, your identity, and sometimes even how you see the world. The film does a good job showing the early connection. We see how Ingle believed in Naz and how others didn't, and how that belief gave Naz the freedom to be himself. That confidence, that showmanship, the refusal to box like everyone else, that didn't come from nowhere. Performance-wise, Piers Brosnan brings a lot of warmth and presence to Brennan Ingle. It gives the character a calm authority and it makes it feel believable. Amir Al-Mazi, playing Naseem, captures the swagger and physicality well. When he moves in the ring, you do feel it. When he's loud, confident and apologetically himself, it lands. However, I would have liked to see more of a focus on the come-up and the details about the fights while he was a teenager. The fight scenes themselves are solid. They're not overstyled, they don't feel cartoonish. You get enough of Naz's unorthodox style to understand why he stood out, without the film turning into a bout of slow-motion highlight reels. Where the film starts to divide opinion is what it chooses not to fully explore. A common criticism from fans and reviewers is that Giant feels more like a Brennan Ingle story than Prince Naseem's. And once you notice that, it's kind of hard to unsee. We don't always get the deep access into Naz's internal world, his motivations, his pressures, and maybe some of his contradictions. And often, we're shown outside rather than what's really going on inside. That's not necessarily wrong, but it does change the emotion and weight of the film. Prince Naseem was one of the most complex figures in British boxing history. Loved, hated, misunderstood, celebrated, criticised. The film touches on that, but it doesn't always sit with it long enough. Another thing worth mentioning is that Naz himself publicly said he wasn't involved in the making of the film.
Me personally, I'm not involved in this movie. I've come in at the last minute.
All right.
And that's mainly because of advertising and marketing purposes. But are the details really true and right? It's funny because a lot of it is just dramatized. It's made up, and it's a movie, man.
That matters. This isn't a documentary, and it isn't meant to be taken about a definite account of what actually happened. Personally, I'm 50-50 about this, as he has been seen doing the PR run, multiple interviews, so I'd imagine he wouldn't want to be part of something that was totally untrue. Maybe the film features some true moments that where perhaps he didn't show the best version of himself and he feels a little bit defensive, but I guess we'll never know. If you go into Giant expecting the full unfiltered Prince Naseem story, you might come away feeling that something's missing. But if you treat it as a film inspired by real people, real tension, it becomes easier to appreciate what it's trying to do. There's also a broader cultural layer to the film that deserves credit. It shows the environment Naz grew up in. Northern gyms, working class Britain, and a climate of racism that Naseem experienced from a child, which really puts into context what he was up against and how much he achieved. That context matters, and the film doesn't ignore it. From a fight culture perspective, the story hits close to home. We've seen this dynamic play outcome multiple times. The young talent rises, money comes in, ego grows, outside voices get louder, religions that were built true start to fracture. Whether you're into boxing, MMA, Muay Thai or any combat sport, that pattern is very similar. So does Giant land a knockout? Not quite, but it does land cleanly. It's a solid, respectful film with solid performances and clear emotional focus. It doesn't just capture the chaos, contradictions, but also it makes Prince Naseem seen as one in a generation figure. My verdict as a fight fan is that Giant is worth watching, especially if you care about British boxing and the trainer-fighter dynamic. but it works best when you see it as one part of the story and not the whole thing. If you really want to understand Prince Naseem, this film should sit alongside interviews, old fights and other documentaries, not replace them. So my rating is 8 out of 10. Let me know what you thought of Giant. Did they do Nas justice? Did they lean too heavily into the trainer's perspective? And where does it rank in your favourite fight films? Join the club, live the fight. Oos!